Hello viewers, welcome to the second half of the tribute of Kirk Douglas. I'm Tuyogidembe. Now recapping from the first half of this YouTube video, I ranked three movies on the top 5 favorite Kirk Douglas's movies. Number 5 was 20,000 League Under the Sea, number 4 was The Viking, and number 3 was Path of Glory. Now here's number 2 favorite Kirk Douglas movie. The Bad and the Beautiful is a movie that takes place in Hollywood about a film producer who gains friends and loses friends. Kirk Douglas plays Jonathan Shield, the film producer who makes a career out of an actress, Gloria Lawson, played by Lana Turner, the director Fred Amier, played by Barry Sullivan, and scriptwriter James Lee Butler, played by Dick Powell. He gains their trust and makes a career out of them, but then he alienates them. The movie begins with the actress, the director, and scriptwriter explaining to executive producer Harry Purber, played by Walter Pidgeon, why they will never work with Jonathan Shields again. And the story takes place in a flashback. Now, before seeing this movie in 2004, it was one of the few Dollars movies that I have not seen during my childhood. So I was quite surprised why I didn't check this movie out earlier before. So after seeing this movie, I was impressed with Kirk Douglas's performance. I loved his performance a lot, which is why this is among my top 5 favorite Kirk Douglas's movies. Now, this movie received 6 Academy Award nominations. It won 5 Oscars. It won Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Supporting Actress for Gloria Graham, who plays the doomed wife of the scriptwriter. Kirk Douglas was nominated for Best Actor in a Leading Role, but he did not win. It's a real shame because I thought that his performance was good. I thought he should have won for that movie. Now, my all-time number one favorite Kirk Douglas movie is, you guess it, Spartacus. Spartacus is an action, adventure, dramatic, epic movie that takes place in the first century BC about a slave who revolts against the Romans and the slave owners and led the slave people into freedom. Kirk Douglas played the titular character. His co-stars are Gene Simmons, Tony Curtis, who worked with Douglas before in The Vikings, Laurence Olivier, Charles Lawton, Peter Ustinov, who won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor as the slave owner, and Woody Strode. Spartacus was the fourth Kirk Douglas movie I saw after The Heroes of Telemaque, Man Without a Star, and The Last Train from Gun Hill. After I saw this movie, I was completely hooked. I knew Kirk Douglas was among my all-time favorite actors. I love the action sequences, the love story between Spartacus and Verena, played by Gene Simmons, and of course, my favorite moment in Spartacus is when all the slave people refuses to give up Spartacus, stand up and shout, "I am Spartacus." Now, I tried to get a hold of a clip of a fight sequence between Spartacus and Drabba, played by Woody Strode. But unfortunately, I couldn't find one that would be able to upload it to YouTube without getting sued for copyright theft. So here's a clip instead of Spartacus meeting Verena for the first time.
I've never had a woman.
You have one now, Spot. You must take her.
Go away.
What will she think of you? Indeed, what will I think of you?
Go away.
Come, come. Be generous. We must learn to share our pleasures.
Not again.
Now. You're not trying to escape, by any chance. Direct your courage to the girl, Spartacus.
Such a great scene. Now, I read some stories that went on behind the scenes of Spartacus. The first story that I read about was Kirk Douglas, who was the executive producer of Spartacus, fired the original director Anthony Mann after the first week of shooting and hired Stanley Kubrick, who worked with Douglas before in the movie Paths of Glory. Now, despite critics considering Spartacus to be Kubrick's best directorial work, Kubrick denounced this movie and says that this was his worst directorial achievement, which annoyed the hell out of Douglas and the Hollywood producers. They said that if Douglas did not hire Kubrick, he wouldn't have had a successful directorial career and direct such movies as 2001: A Space Odyssey and Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, I too did not like the way Kubrick announced this movie. I thought this was Kubrick's best work, and his comment stinks. Another story that I read about was that Douglas and Kubrick did not get along during the production of this movie. They fought a lot, and the fights got so bad that the Hollywood producers and Douglas's wife Anne told Kubrick and Douglas to see couples therapists. Couples therapists. I guess they were like fighting like married couples. Another interesting story that I read about that went on behind the scenes was that Kirk Douglas hired Hollywood blacklist scriptwriter Dalton Trumbo to write the screenplay for Spartacus. Now, the Hollywood producers advised Douglas against it. They said that if he hired a scriptwriter that was blacklisted from Hollywood for being a communist, will put an end to Douglas's career as an actor. But Douglas says to hell with it, that he's going to allow Trumbo to write the screenplay for Spartacus, and he's going to allow him to take credits for it. So when Dalton Trumbo's name appeared in the opening title sequence of Spartacus, it put the end of the Hollywood blacklist era, and people called Douglas a real-life hero. Now, the interesting fact about this was that Otto Preminger said that he was the first person to hire Dalton Trumbo to write the screenplay for his movie Exodus, and he should be credited for putting the end of the Hollywood blacklist era. But unfortunately, Spartacus came out before Exodus, so Douglas was the one who was credited for putting the end of the Hollywood blacklist era. That's it on my tribute to Kirk Douglas. I hope you viewers will check out his movies that are currently playing on Amazon Prime. So rest in peace, Kirk Douglas, and thank you for being the inspiration for many inspiring actors.